Laura Benanti is checking another part off her list of dream roles as she steps into the hit revival of My Fair Lady as Eliza Doolittle. Hear the Tony-winning favorite talk about finding humor in the Lerner and Loewe classic, celebrating a remarkable 21 years on Broadway, and raising a spitfire of a daughter on this week's Show People. Hello, Laura Benanti.
Hello.
So good to have you back.
It's so good to be back.
And back on Broadway.
I know.
In a dream role.
In my dream role.
This is the dream role?
This is the dream
role. It wasn't
role.
The Wedding Singer. It's this.
No. It was Sound of Music.
Right.
Into the Woods. Did it.
Yes, did that.
Gypsy. Rosalie.
These are like nerdy teenage New Jersey. Laura Benanti in her bedroom dreamt up this list.
Yes.
For real.
Yes. No, legitimately.
Okay.
I'm not.
Okay.
I think you know now about me. Everything's for real. Better for better or worse.
True. Yes.
It's is what it is.
It's direct.
It's direct.
Yes.
And this was
is this
the pinnacle.
The final one, or are there more?
Fosca in Passion. No, actually, Fosca in Passion, and then A Little Night Music.
Desiree?
Yeah, Desiree Armfeld.
Oh.
But that's like, you know.
Yeah. No, that's great. Because I was wondering about the next. The next phase. So you actually very smartly have like you have like a. It's not like you picked a bunch of ingenue roles. You like created a whole career of dream
I was
roles.
like, as an 8-year-old, I was like a 45-year-old gay man. So I was like, okay, first I'll do The Sound of Music, then Into the Woods. I mean, I really knew.
Yeah, but Eliza Doolittle is like a
career.
classic ingenue role.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I'd be doing it a little earlier.
Right.
But people are far away.
But
Just squint. Everyone should just cover their eyeballs in Vaseline.
Walking in, that's a requirement for the audience.
I just give goggles where everyone's like, oh, wow.
You look fantastic. Stop with that humor. But you're right, that theater, though, is enormous.
It's
like
huge.
when you see a show there, it's like feels like 4 city blocks.
Yeah.
And the set alone is like a city block.
Yeah, so I'm going to look like 13.
Is this the biggest like set you've ever been on? I mean, this has to be up
No, remember
there.
I did the Radio City Spring Spectacular?
How
remember
did
that?
I forget that dream role. I totally forgot.
Yeah. I wrote a song for the show that I then performed.
Okay.
Because I was like, okay, I'm going to write a song in a bathroom in 20 minutes, and then I'm going to sing it on the stage.
Yeah, that's not on your IBDB, and it's kind of buried on your wiki, I think. So I forgot about it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That was...
Please.
But now that you mentioned it,
I'm
it
so
all
glad
came
I
flooding
mentioned
back. It came flooding back. Yeah, so My Fair Lady is kind of, it's small compared. It's like, I've done Radio City.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
I'm good.
it's certainly, I'm not getting a lot of time on stage, so I haven't, my first job was replacing Rebecca Luker on The Sound of Music.
Yes.
However, I was in the cast, so I was in rehearsal, I got to see it all. With this, they were rehearsing me only during show calls. So it's not a true rehearsal period.
Right.
And also, Harry Hayden Patton is shooting a movie in London.
What? In London?
Yeah, he's shooting.
He's your Henry Higgins.
Yeah, he's Henry Higgins, right. So he's shooting the Downton Abbey movie. So I'm not going to rehearse with him until the day I go into the show.
Well, maybe that tension will be good, like not really knowing. I mean, I don't know.
Maybe. Yes. It'll be great.
You know what? You're a professional. I'm not worried about you.
Okay.
So are you like rehearsing with understudy?
Right now I'm rehearsing mostly with the stage manager. Okay. So I'm like, just you White and Reagans. And she's like, no, Eliza, don't go there. It's hilarious. And then on Thursdays and Fridays, I get I get some understudies. So that's helpful. But they're playing like 100 people. They're like, I'm giving you lettuce and I'm your mom. She doesn't have a mom, by the way.
When they announced that this revival was happening, Bart Scher, the great Bart Scher, who you worked with on Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown. You have to say the full, you were, by the way, hilarious in that. Probably should have won the second Tony for that. Many people say that still, I'm sure.
My mom.
Very funny role.
Thank you.
I listened to it.
It's a great song. I was so lucky to have that
what's that song called?
Model Behavior.
Right, Model Behavior. Check it out, kids. From the Tony-winning, finally, David Yazbek.
Yes.
So Bart Scher directing it,
Yes.
because he has to direct every huge, fancy revival at Lincoln Center. It's like contractual. And everyone thought, well, Laura Benanti, like people immediately, My Fair Lady's coming back, and you were sort of high on people's list, but you were like, yo, I just had a baby.
Yeah, I mean.
That what happened?
I talked to Bart, so they wanted everyone to audition, which I completely understand. And I was like, okay, I'm going to audition. And they sent me the material.
Is that unusual at this point in your career? Like sometimes you're just offered things. Sometimes they're like, we want you to do this.
Yeah, mostly, not to sound like a
Well, it's just
dick.
honest.
But yeah, mostly in the theater I get offered things, which
Yeah.
is really nice. But
Right.
I've also been doing this for 20 years.
Right.
So like, I should hope so.
Right.
But with something like this, I had to audition for Gypsy. I had to audition for Most Happy Fella.
Oh.
Went at Encores because they weren't sure if I could sing that way because I'd been doing like a lot of like fake belting. So I was like, yes, I'm gonna audition. And then I couldn't even get it together to do the audition. Because I wanted to be with my baby. She was just born, basically, And so I called Bart and I was like, listen, if I can't get it together for an audition, I can't get it together to do this part. And
That had to be a hard
it was really
phone
hard.
call.
Yeah, it was really, really hard where I was like, this is a decision that I'm making. This is a life decision. But it's such an interesting lesson in like letting go and having faith because I made peace with it. I was like, I'm never gonna play my dream part. It's done, and that's okay. And then I just was, raising my baby and doing METEOR SHOWER and doing a million other things. And then when
Making out with Amy Schumer.
making out with Amy Schumer.
Funny,
And then when Bart called and said, do you want to come do this for just, however long you want? I couldn't believe it. I just was so incredibly grateful when he called and gave me this opportunity. And my daughter is old enough now to understand. She says, Mama sings for the people.
Sings for the
Mama
people.
sings for the people.
I love that.
Working. And then she says, Mama sings. So adorable.
And you had to audition this time or no?
No.
See that? You were like, I'm going to wait until it's just an offer.
Yeah. And it's funny because people are like, oh, you're replacing. Like there's a stigma. I'm like, if it's good enough for Bernadette Peters,
Amen.
it's good enough for me.
Right.
And there are certain roles you're just like, when this comes around again, I'm going to be, like a grandma. So
It's so crazy that I believe you are celebrating your 20th anniversary on Broadway, correct?
Yes.
Sound of Music was 20 years ago.
No, well, that's 1997. So
Oh,
that was
21.
21, legal.
Wow. Look, that's crazy though, because you're so young and
I'm
spry.
so
Is that
young
a word,
and spry.
right?
Yes.
That's a word. It's crazy because you started so early.
I did. I started when I was 18. I
Right.
just turned 18.
At some point, I'm going to be saying to you, "It's so crazy. You're celebrating 50 years, and you're still going to look good. It's weird. You're just at a different time than
Yeah,
other
because
people."
I wasn't playing kids. I was
Right,
18 years
right.
old playing women.
Right. It's
Yeah.
very odd.
It is odd.
You're odd.
I'm a weirdo.
Yeah.
I think we know that.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll
Okay.
be back with that weirdo you love, Laura Benanti. And we are back with Laura Benanti, celebrating 21 years on the
21
Broadway.
years.
Very strange, right?
It's very strange.
So you're a mom, which
I
we already
am.
talked about.
I am a
Ella
mom.
Rose
Ella
is
Rose.
adorable from what I've seen
Oh, she's
on
hilarious.
She's a pretty girl.
Yeah.
So you actually said on the first show, people, you're a repeat guest, of
I'm a
course.
repeat offender.
You said I've always wanted to be a mom. I feel like I'd be a fun mom or a nightmare. I guess we'll find out.
I think that, so Ella was really colicky in the beginning. So for like the first 4 months, I just didn't sleep at all.
Right.
And like, to be totally transparent, I got really like severe postpartum depression and anxiety.
I read the essay you wrote
Yeah.
about this, which was riveting. I mean, like, you're such a great writer, first
Thank
of all.
you, I
But it was
appreciate
also
that.
just so honest, and so I was like, immediately made me think, when somebody has a baby or a life event,
Yeah.
our reaction is always to be like, oh, no, congratulate, and just that's so wonderful
Totally.
that what this beautiful thing happened, and then now I'm picturing you like lying on the floor,
Yeah.
vomiting, crying, and
I wasn't vomiting, but I was
that was before the vomiting.
doing
was
a
before.
lot of crying. Yeah, I mean, I think that women's issues in general, especially when it comes to our like reproductive system, it's something that we're deeply uncomfortable with. I do really think we live in, I think we're seeing it really now, a deeply misogynist society. I think even women hating themselves, women hating other women, and there's this sense of like women just shouldn't talk about it.
Right.
Like if you have a miscarriage, I wrote about that too. Don't talk about it. It
Right.
makes people uncomfortable.
Right.
If you have a baby, you should only be grateful. You should only be grateful that you had a baby, especially if you had a miscarriage, especially if you've been wanting it forever. And then there's a lot of that self-hatred. There's, this sense of if you can't breastfeed, like you're poisoning your baby with formula. There's
Right.
just so much pressure on moms
Right.
to do things a very specific way. And when you're a first-time mom, you don't know what it's going to be. Someone, you grow a person, you push a human out of your body, and then they give it to you and they're like, keep it alive. And you're like, what do I do? And then there's
Right.
all these different books being like, co-sleep. Co-sleeping is going to kill your kid. Sleep training is child abuse. breastfeed
Right.
and only breastfeed. You know, it's like,
Right.
it's truly crazy. So when Ella was like 4 or 5 months old, I met my friend Kate Mangiamelli, who's actually an incredible soprano at the Metropolitan Opera. She and I met in a Starbucks, and we just like locked eyes, and we both were just like, I see you, because we had our like colicky babies.
You met her, you literally met her
We
there.
literally met in a
wow.
Starbucks, and her baby was crying and my baby was crying, and we looked at each other and we were like, hey.
Wow.
And we became really close friends, and she had a very similar situation where her daughter couldn't tolerate her breast milk, and so she had to do formula. And so we created this Instagram called Mamas for Mamas, which is just, you know, a support system for stay-at-home mom, or, you know, moms who work inside the home, mothers who work outside of the home, whatever you want to do with your kid, other than, you know, obviously something abusive and horrible, like, you're doing great. But it can be really, really challenging. Around 6 months, when Ella could sit up, all of a sudden her digestive issues pretty much went away, and she became the most hilarious person in the world. Like, she never wanted to be a baby. She was born like pissed. She was like, what is this soft baby body? And then at 6 months, she started crawling. 10 months, she was walking. Now she's like saying full sentences. When she was like, Mama work, sing for the people. I was like, how are you 19 months old and understanding what I do for a living?
Right.
But it's really hard, because now she can also say like, Mama, no, like, please don't leave. And that is so hard. But I want her to see that I love what I do. I want her to see that I love her, I love her dad, but I also have this other thing that I love. I want her to know that you can really, I don't want to say do it all, because that sounds gross,
Right.
but love is abundant, you know, and that you can give it to a lot of different people in a lot of different ways. And my time with her is so special.
Right.
But it's really, it's really, really challenging.
Now you're at that point where the next few months will be tough.
But honestly, the theater schedule is great for a mom. I have such a wonderful husband who will let me sleep in.
Right.
And then I have pretty much the whole day with her, except for Wednesdays and Saturdays, until I go to the theater.
And what do you like to do with her? What do you guys?
She goes to a lot of classes. So she has a music class, Music Together, that we really love. She goes to this class called Tinker Garden, which is outside, and they like mash berries and then paint with the berries. She goes to this little gym where she does like all of her gym classes. And then we have a lot of play dates. She has little friends. My friend Kate's daughter Sloan, and she has a friend Isla, and Corbin, who lives in our building, and they're so sweet to each other. They give each other kisses, and when they go down the slide, they're like, yay, Isla, good job, Ella. Like, they're just so sweet to each other. So yeah, we just do a lot of playing and snuggling and reading and watching Moana.
Oh, is that that's on Netflix now, so you can just watch it over and over.
Oh my God. What's hilarious to me though is I thought that How Far I'll Go would be like her favorite song, and it was when she was a baby, but now she likes like the interstitial sort of like weird music.
Oh, okay.
That is hilarious to me.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's like a very highbrow choice. I like that.
She's a hilarious person. I was telling my friends out there, my hair and makeup team.
Yeah.
I was telling them about how she's like visibly.
So you didn't wake up like this?
No, I woke up like this, you guys.
they just
yeah.
approved it.
Yeah, they just approved. They were like, check, you're good to go.
Yeah.
But she visibly brightens when I look nice. She's like, oh, Mama.
Oh.
Yeah, it's very. But then the other day we were leaving to go outside, and I looked like I normally look, which is like someone has dragged me through the mud. And she went, Mama, makeup.
Oh. Wow.
She told me to put on makeup.
Wow.
Yeah, and then the other day I was trying on outfits for an event, and she walked into my room. She was like looking for a toy, and she just went, no.
Oh my God! How did that happen?
Because she's my child.
That's amazing.
I mean, she looks exactly like her dad. I mean, they look like actual twins, but her personality, very much me.
So how is Patrick? So
He's an
your husband
actual
Patrick,
angel. Yeah.
he's a civilian.
He's a civilian.
He's nothing show busy about him.
No.
Which has been, I'm assuming, fantastic.
It's really great because he loves it. He appreciates it.
Yeah.
He has respect for it, but he's not involved in it. And
have you made him more show busy? Does he now he must know terminology and
he does it on his own. The other day he was like, the boards are so excited that you're gonna be Eliza Doolittle. I was like, first of all, how do you even know what that is? And I was like, and also don't go on there. Like, you're gonna see some things that are mean about me. And he was like, oh, I know. And I was like, Patrick, don't do that. But yeah, he's so adorable. He'll like know, he like now has shows that he wants to see, and
yeah, he's getting into it.
Yeah, he really is. But he says things wrong, which is adorable. He'll be like, I really want to see Comes From Away. I'm like, well, that's not what it's called, but okay.
Yeah, you're a little family now.
Yeah, we are.
That's adorable.
We're a family. I've had dream roles, but I've also always really wanted a family. So the fact that I am able to do this is really meaningful to me.
And like holidays now, everything's elevated.
Oh my God,
right?
everything is elevated.
Yeah.
Yeah, elevated.
Ella. And so, do you think she'll be at the theater a
No,
lot?
she has a rough time being in the same room with me if I'm not holding her or paying attention to her.
Right,
So,
like my dog.
Right,
Yeah.
very similar to your dog. So I feel like it would be tricky for her to watch me on stage, and she'd be also she doesn't like the voice, the accent. She's like, no, Mama, no voice.
Oh, she's
no
not.
voice.
She's not into that.
All done singing. All done.
You should just go to the theater and be like, I can't do it with an accent. My daughter's not into it.
I'm not using the accent. I'm making this character my own. Yeah, I don't think she's going to be able to. My husband wants to try and bring her for a minute, but I have a feeling it's going to be an actual literal minute.
And like, what do you think she would like vocal? Like if she
Yeah,
was in
she'll
the
be like,
audience-
Mama! Yeah. When I leave
wanna
to
go
go to
that
the
night.
bathroom, she's like, Mama! like she's being set on fire. It's pretty, she's pretty. My favorite thing she does now, though, is when she's crying, she goes, see self. And I bring her to a mirror, and she watches
See
herself
self?
cry. She wants to see herself cry.
Oh my
I
gosh,
know.
she's amazing.
No, she's incredible. I used to do that too. I used to cry in the mirror, but she full blown cries. And the other day I was holding her, and I looked over, and I was like, oh my gosh, she was like craning her head to look in the mirror. I was like, you might want to work on the tears because I don't see any.
Okay, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be back with more Laura Benanti. We are back with Laura Benanti, Tony Award winner. Yes. Laura Benanti. I'm sorry if I haven't mentioned that.
Well, I forgive you.
So, speaking of awards, you kind of deserve an award for your Melania work. That's become
Thank you. It's not eligible.
It's not
There's no category.
There's no
for
like
it.
Emmy category for coming on, but
No.
really?
No. There's no.
I'm so sorry
I know.
for that.
Yeah,
Because
me
it would
too.
have definitely been a thing.
Thanks. Yeah.
That's sort of been a surprise part of your career.
Yes.
You never saw that coming.
No, I never in my life saw that coming. I mean, I always had a dream of like being on SNL or
Yeah, of course.
There's a whole comedy part of me that I feel like I try to flex,
Right.
and I certainly because of the Melania, I'm getting more opportunity to do that. But yeah, I never in a million years was like, I think this is gonna happen.
Does it get to a point, I wonder this a lot when I watch Saturday Night Live, and obviously the country's going through a lot.
Oh my God.
Does it get to a point where it's kind of like, where it doesn't feel funny and you're kind of like, what's it been like emotionally dealing with doing, because you were doing it before the election.
Yes.
And then after the election.
So the only time it really was not fun was on election night, and that was a live show on Showtime, and I was crying because nobody anticipated the outcome. We didn't really have an appropriate sketch.
Right.
So I was doing a sketch based on an outcome that did not happen.
Right.
So and right before I went on, the people who were on before me were likening this, like if he wins, it'll be like a catastrophe. They were saying things like 9/11 and earthquakes, and please welcome Laura Benanti. And I was like crying hysterically. That was the only time it was really, really not fun.
Right.
It's funny. Before the election, it felt really fun. On election day, it was like not fun. And then after he won, it actually felt like a public service in a way where it feels almost more important to me.
Right.
And I really went into the impression not wanting to like attack her in any way because she didn't choose this.
Right.
I don't think she ever anticipated that she would be the First Lady of the United States of America.
Right.
And I do think she's a good mom. I think she's beautiful. I think she's intelligent. I don't think she's stupid. I vamp her up because she's a model and all that. But it wasn't until the I don't care, do you quote that I was like, you know what, you are complicit in this. And then I went online and I watched some interviews with her where she was, talking about how Barack Obama is, was not born here, and just some other really hateful things. And I was like, you know what, time's up on you too, girl. And so we did a sketch that was significantly more pointed. And that one was maybe not as funny, but it's the one I'm most proud of. So I really enjoy doing it.
I wonder if she's ever seen you on a Broadway stage.
No, I'm going to go with no.
No?
Because,
Okay.
yeah, I'm going to go with no. I think she's probably seen the impression.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming that he's probably seen it too, but he's not angry about it because it's not about him. Because he's, you know,
Right.
so selfish.
Right. But you're a funny lady. We know
Thank
this. And you're great at comedy. And you've said before that you really would love to find an opportunity to do like a new comedy show or something.
Yeah. I mean, really, after this, my goal is to continue to be the best mom I can be, but to have, you know, to be in a really funny show with a lot of funny people. I don't need to be like the center of it, but I just want to work on a comedy that's fun to go to, and that is making people laugh. That's really what I want.
So was Meteor Shower fun?
Oh, it was
Because
the
the audience
most fun.
was going crazy.
It was the most fun.
It was ridiculous. It was like it was the most farcical.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. I mean, working with Steve Martin, first of all, was incredible. And then the cast was just so wonderful. And it was such a great experience for me. Anytime I'm able to do a play where I'm not singing, that's just a relief, because singing is so, you have to just be so careful.
Right.
But also any opportunity where I get to be like, also I'm funny, everybody, I don't just sing high.
Right.
And then also I got to become really good friends with Amy Schumer, who is an amazing person and a wonderful advocate for all people, and also really hilarious.
That scene with the two of you was like hilarious.
Thank you.
And was it, you were really playing off the audience?
Yes, well, the whole show became pretty improvisational, which was so fun.
So it's almost like doing Saturday Night Live.
Oh yeah, I mean, Keegan is incredible and Jeremy is so wonderful, and I was sad when it was done. I really was. I would have done that show forever.
Yeah, but obviously not that many laughs in My Fair Lady.
I mean, I think there can be. My take on her is that, you know, any woman who sort of survives in the life that she lived, and during that time, you know, she lived in a boarding house probably without even a bed, where she wore all of her clothes and then just stood up and then had to leave in the morning and wasn't allowed to go back until the evening. And so in order to survive that, I think you have to have a sense of humor. You know, yes, you have to have street smarts for sure.
Right.
But I think there are things that she says in this show that are hilarious, you know, and I think the way that she deals with people in order to survive on the street is really funny and mercurial. And so I tend to always look for the sense of humor in things, because that's just how I see the world. But I actually think she's really positive. You know, she is the one who goes to this man and says, hey, remember when you said you could elevate me? Well, let's do this. Right. You know, and then it's interesting in this day and age to have a story like this. Well, what's so wonderful about Harry, Hayden Patton, who plays Higgins, is he plays him like he's sort of on the spectrum. You know, he's not intentionally being mean to her. He's just talking. He just is not empathetic. He's not thinking about how she might feel. And she knows that this person is her path to a different life. I think the ending in this particular show, I won't give it away, but it's certainly more appropriate for this time period. You know, I love a journey. You know, Gypsy had that big arc. I love the big arc of this character. And I'm really looking for, it's easy to go from A to Z, but I want to hit all the letters.
I think you're going to be pretty great on October 23rd, but
I'm going to do the best I can. I mean, I can guarantee it, like a good show for sure, but I'm looking forward to having the opportunity to really dig into it over those, like, a couple of weeks.
And I know you don't have a lot of stage time with him, but you have a great stage dad, Mr. Butts, the Butts.
I've never worked with him. I can't believe it.
It's so weird that you've,
I know.
You've never crossed, you've both been around.
I love him so much.
Yeah.
He's such a good actor.
He's hilarious.
This whole cast, there's such fine actors, and Lauren is such a fine actress. She brings so much humanity to it, and she's so facile, you know, it's like she's porous. I can really feel everything that she's feeling. So I'm really grateful for her that she is a big fancy lady and going off to do a TV show so that I can do this now. Thanks, Lauren Ambrose.
Thank you, Lauren Ambrose.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so being a replacement after all these years, I guess it's a different process, because how much have you watched her performance?
So I watched her once from the audience, but then there's a monitor in this like little room that they gave me where I can just basically see bodies.
You're sitting in a little room watching a monitor?
Yeah.
I love that vision.
Yeah, no, it's like a
Like,
little.
I'm picturing with big headphones.
There's
like
no
watching a
headphones.
little
It's just a monitor, but it is sort of like my Harry Potter, like under the stairs. Like I'm like in a corner by the hair room. Dobby's not there though. I wish I had a Dobby. But yeah, so I watch it, but I can't see faces, which is good because I don't want to try.
You're seeing blocking. And
I'm seeing
you're really
blocking.
seeing the big picture.
I've done so many revivals,
Right.
and so I always try to approach it as if it's brand new. And I have to do this as well because Lauren and I are so different.
Yeah.
That if I were to try to completely emulate her performance, I couldn't do it. You know, it wouldn't be good.
Right.
I gotta be me.
Well, I can't wait. I'm so excited that
I'm
you're
so
living the dream,
excited
and I
too.
can't wait for the later career dream roles.
Me too.
I love picturing your career, you know, the next phase, because you're about to turn 30. You're going to turn 30 next year, so it's going to be a whole nother.
I'm gonna be 40 years old. How did that happen? I literally don't understand how that happened.
It happened. I mean,
Time.
it's just
Father time. Of course it's a
I mean,
father.
I've known you for 20 years,
I
so
know.
it's not that shocking to me.
But it
you
feels
look,
like yesterday. Like I genuinely feel like yesterday we were in my dressing room at Swing.
you remember that.
I do remember it.
Backstage at the St. James.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like yesterday to me. It's so crazy. And I know that when I was younger and old people said that, I was like, shut up, everything takes forever. I want to drive.
But you look at your resume and you go, holy crap, I've done a lot.
Yeah, but also like there's so much I didn't do. There's so much I want to do. And I feel like for women in particular, like there's always a ticking clock. Like men age like a fine wine and women just get old. And I hate that.
Not you.
You know, not me.
you, Benanti.
But like, you know what I feel? I do feel like I've never had a career predicated upon being like beautiful, which is great because as I slowly melt and look like Jabba the Hutt, it will be fine because I can still make people laugh and feel things, and they're not like, where'd that gorgeous face go? You know what I mean?
So it's just a bonus that you're beautiful. That's just been a bonus. You just throw that in. And I can do that too. And you can do that.
I'm out.
Okay.
I can't go to rehearsal. I pulled a hamstring.
Well, Laura Benanti is playing Eliza Doolittle.
Nope. Never do it again.
Through February 17th, 2019.
Yes.
And your baby will be 2 at that point.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure
you.
as always. Oh, I love the double hit. Oh, I love that.
Mwah.
Thank you so much. Be careful.
I'm exhausted.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.